Hey guys, it's the Lerm. So I just wanted to make a quick recap of the Notre Dame Duke game today. So it was unfortunately a bad outcome for our team. So we're kind of struggling this year. And on this YouTube channel, I'll make a few videos at least on Notre Dame since I am a big fan since I went to the school. But this game in particular, there has been some glaring problems that I think we should address, and it's just disappointing that the coach, Brian Kelly, and his staff are not taking any responsibility in these losses and not preparing these guys correctly. So let's talk a little bit about the game first. So Duke ended up winning 38 to 35. We came out pretty strong right out of the gate. We jumped out to a 14-0 lead, and then we started having miscues. So we allowed a Duke player to take a kickoff all the way for a touchdown. Deshaun Kaiser had an interception. We had several fumbles. It just was not very disciplined, not very good at all. And I think the biggest part of why we lost is the defense. It's just getting embarrassing, to be honest. This is, we've had multiple games where we've given up more than 500 yards of total offense to a team. Last week we gave that up to Michigan State, and I thought they were a pretty good team, but they got blasted today by Wisconsin. So, what does that say about our team? And then you have Duke that only has scored 27 points in its first two games, and they come in and get 500 plus yards of total offense and score 38 points in this game. Um, our offense is good. I mean, Deshaun Kaiser made a few mistakes today. He threw an interception. He was forcing some things. He didn't look exactly Heisman level, and all of that hype. But he did well enough to, actually win the game if our defense was anything good. Um, just just to let you know his stats, he had 381 yards passing, two touchdowns, one interception, and 60 yards rushing. So those are pretty good stats. But what really bothers me, and why I'm really making this video today, it's not just that we lost the game. It's just our players don't look like they have any fire, any motivation to even win games. It seems like the coaches are not even preparing them at all. And it really, really bothers me because, being Notre Dame, we're held up to this high standard because we have people that really love the school and then we have people that really hate the school. But every year we're supposed to be doing well. We have good recruits. We're supposed to have good coaches. And they're supposed to all perform together well as a team. And that's just not happening. And in the press conference after the game today, Brian Kelly was saying that all 22 positions on the football team are going to be reevaluated. Everything from the quarterback, down to, maybe the punter or the long snapper. But I think the direct quote in there said that, the long snapper might be safe. But still, they're going to reevaluate every single person. And that's all in well. I mean, there's a lot that can be improved with everybody on the team, but that's not the problem, and that's not the issue here. Um, Let me read a quote directly from what he said, if I can find it here. So, Coach Brian Kelly was talking about um, the coaching staff and how there's not going to be any changes. He's not going to make any personnel changes, and he said, "quote Actually, that's probably the one area that I feel better about today. We did what I wanted today in terms of coaching, and coaching had nothing to do with the outcome today. I was pleased from that perspective." He was pleased about that perspective of giving up 500 plus yards. He was pleased that Duke scored 38 points on us. He was pleased that our players didn't have any fire in them were not motivated at all, could not tackle anything. He was pleased. He was pleased that Van Gorder, who's the defensive coordinator that prepared these guys, he, how can you be pleased by that? You need to take it upon yourself as a coach to motivate your players. These are your kids. These are students at a university. They're not just there for football. They're there, for an education as well. And you're failing these guys. I mean, they deserve a much better coach than that. Somebody that actually believes in them, somebody that can inspire them, someone that can motivate them. Not somebody that throws people under the bus, especially Deshaun Kaiser, our quarterback, by saying, we're going to reevaluate all the positions on this team. I don't care that you threw for 380 yards, that you rushed for 60 yards, you scored 2 touchdowns. I don't care about that. I'm going to reevaluate you anyway because your performance was subpar. No, that's not how this works. I'm sorry, Brian Kelly. I'm sorry, Brian Van Gorder, all the coaches on that staff. You have failed this team. You need to properly motivate this team. You need to get back to the basics. You need to go through and teach them how to tackle on a daily basis. Just, get rid of the complex schemes that you have on defense. Just teach them how to tackle. Teach them not to go for the big hits, not to go high on a person. Go low, hit them in the legs, get them down on the ground. That's how you tackle. That's as simple as it can be. These people, these players need to have that at practice. I don't know what they're doing at practice and what they talk about and what they look at on film. I feel like they're not motivated enough and they don't trust each other as a team. And that's something that the coach has to be responsible for. You don't throw your quarterback under the bus who did well enough to win the game if we just had a few more stops. You just don't do that. I don't understand. You can't say that there is no coaching problems when you've given up over 500 yards and you've given up 38 points and you've lost to 3 teams already in the season and you're 1-3. There are problems. You need to figure them out. You need to figure out who can be a better defensive coordinator because it's just not cutting it. And you need to trust the people you named to the starting positions and build up their confidence, get the basics down, make sure they have everything, and then build from there. So I'm sorry that, this video is a little more aggressive and a little more angry than, I want most of my videos to be because I'd like this channel to be pretty chill with, gaming and inspirational videos and stuff, but I just have a problem with people that don't live up to their responsibilities, and Brian Kelly is failing this Notre Dame team. His coaching staff is failing the team. This team has no fire in them. They don't look like they really want to win. They don't look cohesive as a team. And I'm sorry, that's on the coaches. That's not just on the players. Yes, they have some of that responsibility, but the coaches need to be there to properly motivate them, properly drive them to that. So I'm hoping that they can turn it around in the next couple of weeks, at least get them to be, more, get them to work more as a team, get them to get the basics down, get tackling down. We can give up yards, that's fine, but we need to tackle people. We need to keep making sure we can sustain drives, we don't make mistakes. That's all on the coaches. And I'm hoping that I don't have to deal with another week of Brian Kelly just making excuses and blaming, players on the team when really his coaching staff needs to do a better job as well. So that is kind of my mini rant for today. Just fired up because, I am a big Notre Dame fan. Going to the school, you just get so passionate about football, basketball, any sports, anything that's Notre Dame. So I'm of course going to be this passionate as well, and I don't like it when we have a coach that just doesn't appreciate his players. And I know that Coach Weiss, when I was in college, was not the best coach, but his players loved him. I mean, the last game that he had, all his players came out with him hand in hand, as a cohesive team. And I think if this was Brian Kelly's last season, I don't think the players would really walk out like that. They wouldn't show that emotion because most of the time he's just criticizing and he's just yelling at his players and his coaches and stuff, and he's not motivating them. He's not really an elite coach that will drive us to a championship or even um, be competitive for the championship. I know that we had an undefeated season, a couple years ago, but since then, something's changed, and he hasn't been up to par. So I think we really need to figure out, you know, some other solution here, or he needs to figure out deep within himself, figure out what the problem is and how to properly address it. So that's just my rant for today. So hopefully, at least for all my Notre Dame fans, they'll agree with me that there's something wrong. Um, you know, comment if you like. You know, it's something I'm passionate about, and I just wanted to get out there. So hopefully you guys have a good night, and I will see you in the next video. All right, see you guys.